The following books we have selected are great choices in books for first graders during their dear time.
The range in reading levels and topics among these easy readers will meet the needs and interests of any first grader.
My name is Caroline Conley. The first book I chose was There's a Cow on the Road by Reeve Lindbergh. Have you ever looked out your window and seen something you're not expecting? Have you ever just kept looking and seen more and more? In this story, when she wakes up, she sees a cow on the road. But not just that. As the cow moves, there's more and more that she finds out. Persuade your children to read the book and see what crazy things appear as time goes by. The second book, The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen. Have you ever felt unwanted or out of place? Do you ever feel like you're in the wrong place or you're treated differently? In this book, that's how the ugly duckling feels. He is mistreated and no one wants to play with him. But they don't know that he's a special duckling and might turn out to be the lucky one as well. The story offers hope, which will relate to some of your children's lives and would be a great book for the children to see what happens and if the ugly duckling isn't so ugly after all. The third book, Bubba the Cowboy Prince by Helen Kettman. Do you ever feel like you're looked down upon? Have you ever been mistreated and laughed at? Well, in this book, Bubba is always laughed at and forced to work on the ranch. The richest lady in the land decides to throw a ball and pick her future cowboy that's as cute as a cow's ear. After all the torture and laughs from his stepbrothers, when the time comes, do you think Ms. Lorraine chooses the evil stepbrothers or the Bubba, the dirty rancher that smells more like cattle than cattle do? Encourage your students to find out that authority doesn't always matter and see what comes next.
My name is Brandy Maclin. Todd's Box was authored by Paula Sullivan. Todd sees many interesting things along his journey with his mom. Todd's mom was in such a hurry that she couldn't stop every time he saw something interesting. Encourage your children to read and find out the surprise in Todd's Box. This is not your average easy reader book. This book can be read independently by children during dear time due to the many sight words available. Even after the children read this story, the fun is not over yet. This book invites children to engage in an activity where they can pretend to go on a walk with Todd and create their own surprises. Provide this book in your classroom and see the many surprises your children will create. Snow was written by Roy McKee and P.D. Eastman. This beginner's book has the exact blends of words and pictures that will encourage the children in your classrooms to read all by themselves. This book contains many vibrant colors that illustrate the many ways to enjoy snow. Many children have either seen or heard about the topic of snow. This book is simple to read, rhymes, and it still manages to tell a humorous story. Encourage your children to take in the joys of snow. Have you ever had a student to ask, "What is time?" Well, Beth Gleich did, and it encouraged her to write a book called Time is When. Time is When is a book that will help answer this complex question that children all around the world ask at some point in their life. Gleich breaks down time into many concepts that readers are sure to grasp. This book uses simple language and pictures that will be familiar to many first graders. Provide this book in your classrooms so that children can finally have an answer for what time really is.
My name is Taylor Latimer. Most children go through their fair share of bad days. Perhaps they have days like Ronald Morgan in Today Was a Terrible Day by Patricia Riley Giff. He lost a ball game, forgot to get his homework signed, and received a note home to his parent all in one day. Can this terrible day be turned around? Encourage your children to read this book during dear time to find out. Another great book to incorporate with children during dear time is That Bad, Bad Cat by Claire Masherell. Perhaps your children have a pet that is out of control, one who ruins the house furniture or eats all the plants. How would they feel if one day this bad pet just ran away? Children must read this book to see what happens to the very bad cat that runs away. Are your children interested in mystery? If so, The Bookstore Burglar by Barbara Maitland is the perfect book to read. One day, Cobweb, the bookstore cat, notices something strange. A man takes the bookstore's spare key. Cobweb insists to the bookstore's owner, Mr. Brown, they have a burglar. Your children will have to read to find out if Mr. Brown listens to Cobweb's warning.
Hi, my name is Brent Brewer.
The Marble in the Water by David Reese would be a good novel to read for children because they will get to see the types of writings that are read in other nationalities. It is just to shed a light on the different works done by different popular authors. Some other cultures may like types of reading that we do in our culture. This will be relatable because they can learn how kids just like them in different parts of the world do things. In A Moral Tale by Anne Scott McLeod, I recommend that children read this because it shows them the type of things that other kids went through in history, showing them the way that things were compared to now, and also being able to show the process of how things evolved back then. Also the type of family activities that people did then and the different activities they did for fun. This book will relate to children because of the story is directly related to children of their age, and they can compare and contrast things that are done now as opposed to what was done in the past. This of the three books would be the most complex and high level of reading. Talent is Not Enough by Molly Hunter deals with the death of children and how their emotions do indeed compare to adults. That children still feel all the same things adults do when it comes to serious emotional issues such as death. This book would be more for mature readers in elementary school that would be able to understand things like this and be able to handle what the author was saying. This is absolutely for transitional readers, and I would say it relates to children by preparing them for things that everyone goes through. Grief is a part of life, and maybe they can see what other children go through and how they might cope with things. They can see they aren't the only ones that may go through a tough time.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Higgins.
In Wonton by Lee Wardlaw, a cat in a shelter gets a new owner but makes mischief when he's brought home for the first time. This tale is told in haiku and is a great introduction to different poetry styles for curious emergent readers. In I Hate School by Jean Willis, Honor Brown has some complaints to voice about her school. No one believes her when she tries to explain how horrible school is. But when she finally leaves, will she be happy or sad? This book is excellent for beginners who may think they have it rough at school. It is humorous, engaging, and has great illustrations. What happens when Fred and Belle decide to adopt a rather unorthodox pet? In Linda White's Too Many Turkeys, one special turkey helping out in the garden turns into an invasion. What will Fred and Belle do with all the turkeys that flock to their house? This book is great for kids who love animals and the outdoors and want a fun story.
My name's Olivia Collins. The Story of Ferdinand by Monroe Leaf is illustrated by Robert Lawson and is a great option for beginner and emergent readers. Have you ever had a student tell you that they don't feel like they fit in with all the other kids? Or maybe a student that you've noticed doesn't really play well with the other children? Well, this story could be perfect for them. The story is about a gentle bull that would rather sit and smell the flowers than run, jump, and butt heads with the other bulls. Ferdinand is full of great illustrations, and it has words that are easy to sound out and learn. It would be a wonderful option for students because it is a story of being strong and confident in your unique personality, and it is grade level appropriate for emergent and beginner readers. Caps for Sale is told and illustrated by Esfer Slobodkina and is a story that is timeless and perfect for beginner readers. It is a wonderful read aloud as well because it offers repetition that children will join in on the fun of reading. In this story, a peddler is selling caps and gets tricked by some monkeys while he's taking a nap. Will he ever figure out how to outwit the tricky monkeys? You will have to read to find out in this classic tale. Miss Nelson is Missing is by Harry Allard and James Marshall. This book is humorous and interesting for both student and teacher. This is a fun book to read to a classroom because its setting is actually in a classroom, which makes it relatable and fun for student and teacher. It offers a story of trickery and obedience. The words are easy to read and great for students that are beginner or emergent readers. It is wonderfully illustrated and will keep the student engaged and interested until the very last page. The pictures and sight words make for an easy read and a great tool for learning. You won't want to miss out on this opportunity to share this book with your students.